In this lesson, we will learn about custom form layout and how we can customize it. Let's start by reviewing Mozilla docs on grid template areas because custom form service layout is based on that. As you can see, we have demo here demonstrating how grid template areas works. As you can see, it is based on rows and columns, and we are using IDs to define how the layout should look. In the first example, we can see that box A takes the whole first row, and second and third rows are divided between box B and C, as seen on the right. In the second example, we can see that box B takes first two columns, and third column is divided between box A and box C. And last example shows a use of dot, which in this case corresponds to empty place. So in this case, first two rows are divided between box A and empty places, and third row is empty place and then box B and C. Now let's go to code to see how it works in a case of custom form service. We are starting with this very simple form containing 4 fields: from, to, departure, and comment. Now let's go to Sabre Red Web to see how it looks. As you can see, when no custom layout is defined, fields are rendered one by one in one column in order specified in fields list. So we have from, then to, then departure, and comments. Now let's go to code to see how we can customize layout. To define custom layout, all we have to do is to add a layout property to custom form. Layout is list of strings defining how each row looks like. So let's say I want to have from and to fields in first row. So I will just type from and to divided by space. Next, I want to have empty place. So I will use dot and departure. And I want to have comments in last row, taking up both columns. Few notes: when using custom layout, please make sure that you are using all the IDs from fields list. If some is missing, the layout won't work correctly. Secondly, a field can take up multiple columns, like comments, but cannot take up multiple rows. And last one, the number of white spaces between IDs in one row doesn't matter. So often we are adding white spaces just to have one column start in one place. This way, it's easier to understand layout. Okay, let's save and go to Sabre Red Web to see how it works. Now back to Sabre Red Web. Let's open form once again. And you can see layout we've just defined. So we have fields from and to in first row, in second empty place and departure, and comments field in last row. There is one thing to keep in mind. As you can see, after opening form, we are focused on first field, from, and I can move through other fields using tab key. Order of this is based on fields order in fields list. Let's go to code to change something to see what I mean. First, please note fields order. We have from field first, then to, then departure, and then comments. This is consistent with layout order, where we have from, then to, then departure, and comments. Let's change this to be the other way around. So I will have comments first, then departure, then to, and from will be last. Let's save and go to Sabre Red Web to see the changes. Now, let's open custom form once again. And as you can see, initial focus is on from field. And if I start using tab key, focus will be jumping upwards. As you can see, layout is working as expected, but initial focus and tabbing order is based on fields list. So this is something to keep in mind when working with layouts. Last note, custom layouts are not available when using text API. So if you want to use them, you need to use structure API.